Narahari Rupa, Narahari, Narsimha, half man, half lion, incarnation of Krishna. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jaya Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai 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 Jai Narasingha. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Jaya Jai Narasingha. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narasingha Dev. Shri Narasingha, Jai Narasingha, Jai Jai Narsimha Dev. Prahlad Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Brinda. 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 Desha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Brinda. Shri Narsimha Jai Narsimha Jai Jai Narsimha Dev. Shri Narsimha Jai Narsimha Jai Jai Narsimha Dev. Jai Narsimha Jai Jai Narsimha Dev. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dordai. So chant together, one voice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And again, one voice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narsimha Bhagavan Ki. Welcome everyone to ISKCON North Sydney Temple, celebrating Narsimha Chaturdashi. Narsimha, the half-man, half-lion, incarnation of Krishna. Chaturdashi means the 14th day. And tomorrow is Purnima, that is a full moon. So as you were coming here this evening, maybe you noticed the almost full moon in the sky, looking most beautiful for the appearance of Narsimha Dev. In ISKCON temples, on every altar, we have Narsimha Dev's picture. Today he is surrounded by cupcakes. That is not traditional. It is an expression of the love of the devotees here, that Narsimha Dev is surrounded by cupcakes. But traditionally, we do have the painting of Narsimha Dev on our altars. And at the end of pretty much every artik, Narsimha Dev prayers are sung, mantras in glorification of Narsimha Dev. This is the Narasimha Pranam that is chanted, as well as one of the prayers from the Dasa Avatara Stotram written by Jayadev Goswami. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Simha Keshavadrita Nara Hari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Srila Prabhupada introduced the chanting of these prayers into ISKCON in 1960. We have a little competition. Someone else wants to talk about Narasimha Dev. We can share the seat. 1969, Prabhupada introduced the chanting of Narasimha prayers into the ISKCON worship, the ISKCON services, so concluding each arti with chanting these prayers. It's not necessarily something that is done in Gaudiya Vaishnava temples, something that Prabhupada introduced, and it was at a period, at a point where there were two events taking place that were causing a danger to the future of this movement that Prabhupada had brought to the West on the order of his spiritual master. Prabhupada, instructed by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati at their very first meeting, teach Chaitanya's message in the English language, and then he spent his lifetime preparing to fulfill that instruction in different ways, publishing an English periodical, Bhakti, Back to Godhead, that he distributed on the streets of Kolkata and Delhi. And then when he was advised that people generally throw magazines away, you better write books. And so he started to translate Srimad Bhagavatam and to write books in English so he could fulfill his spiritual master's mission. And then 1965, he got free passage, miraculously, at a very elderly age. He was given free passage on a freight ship from Mumbai to Boston Harbor to the United States of, initially Boston and then New York, to the United States of America. And he miraculously, again, started this International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He struggled for the first year in New York, trying to gain some attention for Chaitanya's message, but it was difficult, initially trying to teach in Boston and then later in New York City. Slowly, slowly, people started to come and to hear. He would speak in a small storefront, 26 2nd Avenue, New York City. There was a store called Matchless Gifts, and some friends of Prabhupada, not yet disciples, but in the process of becoming disciples, they procured the lease for that shop called Matchless Gifts, and they figured, that's a really good sign, actually. Krishna consciousness is the matchless gift. And so they left that sign there, and it was the it was the sign for the first temple of Krishna consciousness, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission in the West. That store is still there in New York today. You can visit 26 2nd Avenue. You will see a store called Matchless Gifts. And there are devotees that regularly meet and discuss Harikatha. They engage in kirtan in that place, the place from which this wonderful society has spread all across the world. And so the first next center was San Francisco, and then gradually other centers started to open, even in London, so internationally. 1969 was a time when Prabhupada felt some threat to this mission that he had started. A few things were happening. One is that his health was very bad. Even on the journey over to the New York City, over to the United States, he suffered 2 heart attacks. And he felt that he would leave his body, that he would not get to fulfill his spiritual master's mission. But then he describes how he had a dream. And in that dream, the Dasa Avatara, they came to him, and he saw that they were rowing the ship that he was on, going towards the United States, and that Krishna was massaging his heart. Krishna saved him when he thought he would leave this world. And he writes how in his song, Markandeya Bhagavad Dharma, about preaching Krishna consciousness in the West, that he wrote on the Jaladuta, on that ship, as he was arriving in the United States. He said, "Today I called to you, and you came. If the opportunity to see you again comes, then I will run with you in the fields of Vrindavan." So maybe there's some reference there to his experience in being saved by Krishna in that very, very life-threatening moment. So Prabhupada's health was not great. He was elderly in age, and he started this great mission, but his health was still not strong. He was taken to hospital in New York, and he was not happy there in a hospital. This was already after establishing the movement, and he had his disciples kidnap him. They escaped from the hospital. Prabhupada thought he would leave his body there, and he decided that he would like to go back to Vrindavan. By this time, he already had a temple in Los Angeles, so he was staying in his Los Angeles temple. And one day, that temple was bombed. Prabhupada was in his quarters, and the temple room, somebody threw a bomb through the window of that temple. So people were starting to react negatively, violently towards the devotees, towards Prabhupada's society. And then internally, something else was happening. There were some political struggles. Some of those that Prabhupada had trusted as his leaders, he felt that they were trying to take control from him of the society. So these 3 things converged all at once. And Prabhupada, he was feeling very saddened by these events. So his poor health, some political struggles, and then a bomb attack on the temple. So he came into the temple room. Some of you wondering so far, what is this to do with Narsimha Chaturdashi? Here it is. Prabhupada called the devotees into the temple room. He sat on the Vyasa-san and he said, everyone repeat after me. Namaste, Narasimhaya, Prahlad, Adayine, Hiranya, Kashipu Vaksha, Shilatanka, Nakalaye. Prabhuji's laughing because I'm using the same accent that Prabhupada used in instructing his disciples when he taught them this mantra. You can look it up. You can find it online. Just do a Google search for Prabhupada teaching Narasimha prayers, and you will hear a recording of Prabhupada teaching the Narasimha mantra to his disciples. And then he tells them at the end, he says, you should chant these mantras. Chant these mantras for the protection of your spiritual master, because his health was very poor. Chant these mantras for the protection of this mission, of this movement. And so disciples started to chant. You can hear Prabhupada instructing the disciples in how to chant and then why they should chant. You chant for the protection of your spiritual master. You chant for the protection of the Sankirtan movement. Prabhupada says, now I am going to India. He wasn't sure when or how he would come back. He wasn't sure. He wasn't certain. He was going to go via Japan, and in Japan, he met with Dai Nippon. He had a contract. He gave them a contract to print his books. But he wasn't entirely sure that he would come back. He wasn't sure about his health. He wasn't sure about politics. And so he said, you chant this mantra. Protect your spiritual master. Protect the movement. Protect you. Protect your spiritual life. So there is historical precedent where Sri Narasimha takes the role of protector of the Sankirtan movement. During the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was an obstruction to Sankirtan. That is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared 500 years ago, Krishna himself in the mood of Sri Radha, and he gave what no other incarnation had given before, pure love for God, through chanting. Initially, he chanted in seclusion with the most confidential associates. They would chant behind closed doors, at Srivasangan, only pure devotees allowed. And they would have the most incredible kirtan because everyone there was a pure lover of God. And one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, now it's time to take this kirtan to everyone. And he sent his devotees to go to the streets, to go to the marketplaces, to go to the villages and sing Hari Kirtan, to invite the people to come together as brothers and sisters without consideration of caste, without consideration of social distinction in terms of poverty or wealth and any other material consideration. Invite everyone to come together and engage in singing Harinam. And a flood of Sankirtan swept Nadia. So much so that some envious persons, so-called Hindus, went to the Muslim ruler and said, you have to stop him. You have to stop Nimai Pandit. He is sharing these mantras with commoners and the mantras are going to lose their potency. And so Kazi, he was looking for an excuse to stop this flood of love of God, this spiritual revolution that was taking place. And he said to the people, what has happened to you? weakling Hindus, basically. You're generally so docile and compliant, and suddenly you have all become very courageous. You have become very confident. What has gotten into you? So he was concerned anyway, but when he received these complaints, okay, he had an excuse. The mantras are losing their potency. As if. And so he went to where some people were engaged in Sankirtan, and he broke the mridangas. Mridangas are made from clay, so they're quite fragile. The Chandkazi broke the mridangas. That place is still there. You can visit it in Navadvip Dham, called Banga Danga. The place of the broken mridanga. Called Banga Danga. And he said, this is a warning. This is a warning. Anyone who engages in Sankirtan will be imprisoned. And so the people became very compliant and very afraid, and they stopped doing Sankirtan. They went to Chaitanya. Chaitanya said, why aren't you singing the holy names? Why aren't you playing your mridangas? Oh no, we'll be imprisoned. The Qazi said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, nonsense. Tell the people to get their mridangas and their kartals and flags and festoons and banners and torches. And tonight we will march on the palace of the Qazi. How exciting, huh? Revolution. A civil disobedience. And so that's what happened. Thousands of people came out onto the streets. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing like a firebrand in that kirtan, in one kirtan, in another party, Advaita Acharya, the elderly Advaita Acharya. He was dancing ecstatically. In another kirtan party, it was Srivas. And they went, thousands of them, chanting with their banners and their flags, dancing ecstatically to the palace of the Qazi. Guess what the Qazi did? He hid. He hid inside. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the door. Qazi, come out! Speak to us! And the Qazi would not come out. Finally, the Qazi was persuaded to come out. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had everyone sit down. Mahaprabhu sat with the Qazi himself. And they had some discussion. The Qazi raised some... He tried to raise some questions about Vedic Dharma. He tried to put doubt into the minds of Chaitanya and his followers. He asked a question. He says, you say that you can't eat meat, but in the Vedas there are animal sacrifices done. What has that to do with our big Sankirtan protest? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that was a previous age. That is forbidden in Kali Yuga. But my question for you is, why didn't you stop our chanting? Why did you hide inside your palace? Where were your guards to arrest anyone who does Sankirtan in your kingdom? And the Qazi said, oh, that. You really want to know? He said, last night, after I broke the mridanga, and I made that proclamation, I went back to my palace and I lay down, and I had a terrible dream. Mahaprabhu says, so tell me, what dream did you have? He said there was this ferocious being that came to me, roaring like a lion. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a a man or a lion? And he pounced on me with his claws on my chest. And he said, Kazi, if you ever try to stop the Sankirtan, I will tear you apart. Kazi said, then I woke up and I was sweating. I was shaking with fear. And he said, I remembered one other thing. That lion said to me, that man lion said to me, I'm going to leave you with a sign so you know this isn't just a dream. The Qazi said, this is the sign. He opened his chest and he showed the devotees there were claw marks on his chest. And all the devotees said, Jai Narsimha Dev! Jai Narsimha Dev! Jai Narsimha Dev! Narsimha Dev, the protector of the Sankirtan movement. The Qazi, he in fact made a counter proclamation. He said, from this day forward, nobody will ever hinder Sankirtan in my kingdom, in my domain. And he gave the devotees his shield. He said, you can carry it on your Sankirtan, this shield of mine, and no one will stop you. Not me, not any of my representatives or descendants. And you'll see even today in Sankirtan in India, sometimes they carry this shield. They have a tilak in the middle, and then it's a shield that was given by the Qazi to protect the Sankirtan party. So, Narsimha Dev, the protector of the Sankirtan movement. Prabhupada gave the prayers for protecting the Sankirtan movement, and in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, we have this wonderful example. Narasimha is Krishna. Krishna in the mood of providing protection, specifically for his devotees. And that's why we pray to Narasimha Dev to protect our spiritual master, a wonderful devotee of Krishna, to protect the Sankirtan movement, to protect us. But that protection is protection of our bhakti, protection of our faith in Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastimes, we have Narasimha Dev protecting his Sankirtan mission, and earlier in the Bhagavatam, we have Narasimha Dev protecting Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was a 5-year-old devotee of Krishna. In fact, he was a devotee even in the womb. But his pastime takes place at the age of 5. It begins at the age of 5 when Prahlad Maharaj is sent to school, and he returns from school, and his father, the great tyrant, ruler of the universe, he had taken the position of Indra. He was so powerful, he had removed the demigods from their posts and appointed his own representatives. Hiranya Kashipu. Literal translation of his name, gold pillow. Golden soft bed. Mr. Gold soft bed. I, Mr. Gold soft bed, am your ruler. He forbade the Brahmanas from worshipping Vishnu. He forbade them from offering oblations in the fire to Vishnu. He said, no, you offer to Gold soft bed. All sacrifice, all austerity, everything must be done for the pleasure of your ruler, Gold soft bed. Then his own son, it turns out, is a devotee of Vishnu. So that was most disturbing for him, most distressing. His son returned from school one day and his father takes him on his lap. Hey boy, what did you learn in school? What's the best thing you've learned in school? And Prahlad replies, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmani Vedanam. The best of all things that I have learned are these 9 activities of bhakti. Oh, for my glorification? No, Father, for the glorification of Vishnu. Hearing, chanting, remembering, glorifying, making friendship with, engaging in service towards. Completely surrendering oneself, mind, body, and words. This is the best of all things that I've learned. Bring the teachers. Where are the teachers? Sanda and Amarka, 2 sons of Shukracharya. Bring them. What have you taught my son? Nonsense about worshipping Vishnu. No, it wasn't us. We promise it wasn't us. Somehow the enemy has come in and by some kind of clandestine means poisoned the mind of the prince, or take him back and teach him properly. Prahlad was sent back to the school, and he made all of his school friends into Vaishnavas as well. My dear friends, sons of demons, at the very young age of 5 years, you should take to Krishna bhakti. Kaumaram ajaret pragno dharman bhagavatani ha. Durlaban manusanjanma tarabyadruva marsadam. This human form of life is most rare. Don't waste it. He's telling his friends, you're playing, you're doing all kinds of frivolous things. Get serious. Take up Bhagavad Dharma. Worship Vishnu. Really, Prahlad? Can't we do that when we're older? No time to waste, my dear friends. Older. How do you know when you're old? You could die at any minute. You could be old right now. Who knows when we will die? These were his arguments to his friends. This is too important to wait for some time, someday. Most relevant for all of us to hear these instructions as well. The teachers found all these young boys becoming Vaishnavas. They took Prahlad back to the king. They said, we don't know. He's teaching the other kids. Hiranyakashipu decided he should be killed. He said, when a limb of the body becomes infected, sometimes it needs to be severed in order to save the rest of the body. This son of mine needs to be eliminated in order to protect others. And so he ordered his guards to kill Prahlad. They tried in so many ways. Throw him off the top of a mountain peak. Prahlad was never afraid. This is most wonderful. He was never afraid because he was always convinced of Krishna's protection. He had no doubt. Us, we in that situation, we will be Krishna, but something to hold on to at the same time. We call to Krishna, but our faith is not there. A little bit, just in case, but hold on for dear life, just in case it doesn't work as well. Prahlad, absolute faith. Chanting Krishna's name, and Krishna appeared and caught him in the air, gently placed him on the ground. Hiranyakashipu had him trampled by mad elephants. They feed the elephants lots of liquor, get them all riled up, prod them, then let them loose in the arena, trample the little prince. Krishna says in the Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. I am in the heart of every living being. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And so in the heart, Krishna instructed those elephants, don't kill the boy. Offer your obeisances to him. So these mad elephants, they did full Dandavat pranams. They lifted Prahlad. The biggest elephant lifted Prahlad, and then they took him on procession around the arena. Hiranyakashipu had him thrown into boiling oil. He had him thrown into a pit of venomous snakes. How many ways can you kill a person, right? Hiranyakashipu tried them all. Finally, he decided, okay, none of that's working. How about we make friends? I gain his trust, and then I kill him. So he said, Prahlad, I know we haven't been getting on lately. How about we have dinner together? How about dinner with dear dad? And he instructed the cooks, poison the food. Prahlad will be off guard. And so the food is brought in for dad and son. Prahlad's plate laden with venom, enough to kill many, many people. And before Prahlad eats, he offers his food to Vishnu. Everything should be offered before it is taken. Bongte bojayate cheva. No, sorry, that's wrong. What's the verse in the Gita? Yajna shistasina shanto munchate sarvakil bishai bunjate tetvagam papa ye pachantyat makarnat. Food which is first offered to Vishnu, to Krishna, is freed from any sin. Other food which is prepared for personal sense enjoyment, it is with pap, with sin. Okay, so Prahlad, he offers that food. He starts eating. Papa says, boy, how are you feeling? I'm feeling very well, father. Okay, eat some more. Like this, Hiranyakashipu was unable to kill Prahlad. It made him more and more frustrated because he was, after all, the great gold Safbed, ruler of the universe. Everyone trembled in fear of him, and here his own son, a 5-year-old, was absolutely fearless. That made him very uncomfortable. When people were afraid of him, he felt comfortable. People just feeling peaceful and relaxed around him made him feel very anxious. And so he grew more and more angry. Finally, in desperation, he asked Prahlad, what is the source of your power? And Prahlad responded very factually, Father, the same source as your power. And what would that be? Vishnu. Vishnu. Again, this Vishnu, where is he? Hiranyakashipu, he's so puffed up, he thinks that Vishnu's hiding from him because he's afraid. Where is this Vishnu? Hiranyakashipu wants to know where Vishnu is so he can kill him. He's been able to eliminate every other obstacle. This Vishnu has been hiding. Where on earth is he? Where in the universe is he? Prahlad says, Father, he is everywhere. Okay, everywhere, in everything. Is he in this column? Hiranyakashipu's question. Prahlad, yeah, of course he is. Everywhere means everywhere. And so Hiranyakashipu, in rage, takes his sword, slashes that column, thinking that he will kill Vishnu by destroying that column. To his shock, horror, amazement, adbhuta, amazement, there is a great roar from this column. Bursting out of this column is this form of Vishnu that had never been seen before. Although the pastime repeats, in this universe it had never been seen before. Vishnu appearing as a very angry, half man, half lion. Why is he appearing as a half man, half lion? Because Hiranyakashipu, he's set himself up with boons, with benedictions from Brahma. He performed terrible austerities for 10,000 years, standing on the tips of his toes. His austerity, his tapas, was so great, standing in one place with hands stretched to the heavens on the tips of his toes for 10,000 years. These penances were so great that the universe started to choke. Fire was emanating from his head because he had been standing there for so long. Ants had built a nest around his body, eaten away all the flesh, all the muscle. All that was left were bones. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful, his tapas, his austerity was so great, that he was able to maintain his life inside that skeleton. Scary stuff, right? The demigods were scared. The universe was scared. And so Brahma, after hearing the appeals of different universal administrators, go and stop this person. Well, to stop him, I'm going to have to give him benedictions. Do what you have to do. So Brahma, he went there, and he poured from his kamandalu, from his water pot, water, which gave Hiranyakashipu a new, strong, powerful body. Brahma said, what can I do for you? Hiranyakashipu said, give me the boon of immortality. Brahma said, really? Anything else? Immortality. That's something that I even don't have myself. Nobody's immortal. Everyone in this world has to die. Ask something else from me. Hiranyakashipu, he's very clever. He thinks quickly. He says, fair enough. Give me the boon. Well, give me boons. That I will never die in the day or the night. Tatashtu, so be it. Give me the boon that I will not be killed by man or beast. So be it. Give me the boon that I will not be killed inside or outside, on the land, in the sky, or on the sea. He's covering his bases. Brahma says, so be it, tatashtu, and leaves. And Hiranyakashipu says, I, gold soft bed, am immortal. And he set about taking over the universe, removing any obstacle in his way, taking over planet after planet, ascending to the throne of Indra, removing him from his post, removing the devas from their rulership of the sun and the moon and the wind and the water and any other area of responsibility that they may command. It was the reign of Hiranyakashipu. Now this terrifying being is before him, having jumped out, emerged from the pillar. And Hiranyakashipu, he says, "What is it?" It's Vishnu in a form that is neither man nor beast. He played with Hiranyakashipu like a cat plays with a mouse. And the demigods, they are hiding behind the clouds, hiding in the heavens. They're watching this cat and mouse play. Can you please close the door? They're watching this cat and mouse play, and they're praying, "Vishnu, please don't play anymore. Kill him." They're afraid. Even they don't have faith. Finally, Narasimha takes him where? To the doorway, to the veranda, neither inside nor outside. Waits for dusk, neither day nor night. Places him on a lap, not on the land or the sky or the sea. And not with a weapon, but with his fingernails, he pierces Hiranyakashipu's abdomen. He's very, very angry. Hiranyakashipu, terrorizing the universe, terrorizing this small bhakta, this 5-year-old boy, Prahlad, who's done nothing wrong, but have devotion for Vishnu. Narasimha takes Hiranyakashipu's intestines and garlands himself with them. Takes out Hiranyakashipu's heart and throws it across the assembly. The demigods, they're too afraid to approach him. They try to approach him with prayers, and Narasimha Dev lashes out at them, who roars, "You faithless demigods! You didn't have faith in me. You didn't try to protect Prahlad." Brahma, he thinks, well, we have to pacify Narasimha. He's killed Hiranyakashipu, but we don't know what else he might do. And so he tries to pacify Narsimha Dev, and Narsimha Dev roars at Brahma. Brahma steps back, and he sends little Prahlad, "You go and offer prayers." And Prahlad offers the most beautiful prayers to Narasimha Dev. Narasimha Dev takes Prahlad on his lap, and he embraces him, and he licks Prahlad out of affection, like a mother cat, licks her kittens. And he says, "Prahlad, my dear Prahlad, ask something from me. What can I give you? What can I do for you? Take some benediction from me." And Prahlad said, "My Lord, I'm so satisfied. I have your service. I have a loving relationship with you. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything. I'm fully satisfied in loving you." And Narasimha Dev says, "I know, but ask something from me anyway." And Prahlad said, "Well, I'm a bit worried about my dad." He was a big demon. Narasimha Dev said, "Don't worry about him. Because you are my devotee, 7 generations before, 7 generations after you, they will all be purified. They will all be delivered." Ask something. And Prahlad, he made a prayer. He said, my Lord, please give me the benediction that I will never forget you. That's how the devotee prays. Bless me that I will always remember you and that I will never forget you. How are we going to pray to Narsimha Dev? What benedictions will we ask from him? Well, we have learned at the beginning of this class, Prabhupada instructed his disciples, you pray for the protection of the Sankirtan movement, pray for the protection of your spiritual master, pray also for your own protection, but that is the protection of your Shraddha, of your faith, like Prahlad. That is the main prayer of the devotee. We pray to Narsimha Dev for the removal of obstacles or protection against obstacles that are an impediment to bhakti. And that is why we glorify Narsimha Dev as Bhakti Vigna Vinasa, the protector of devotion, or the remover of obstacles in the path of devotion. And that's why at the beginning, at the end of each kirtan in ISKCON temples, we sing the Narasimha prayers for the protection of the movement of the spiritual master and for the removal of obstacles on the path of devotion. Shri Narsimha Chaturdashi ki! Shri Narsimha Dev Bhagavan ki! Bhaktaraj Prahlad Maharaj ki! Nitai Gaur Premanandi!
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Pashtato Desatarine Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Kiba Jayo Jaya Gora Chander Aroti Kosoba Kiba Jayo গোরা চাঁদের আরতি কসবা